Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO 44 coming up with another video with food on my mouth. Forgive me. But we've been talking about a lot of other teams. I ain't talked about the Lakers in a while. And I've had a lot of ideas about what other teams should do with their situation, but I haven't even considered our own, which is really strange, to be honest with you. But I feel like the Los Angeles Lakers, and it's going to sound strange to a lot of Laker fans, but we're just not the most exciting team for this offseason. We're really not. We got LeBron James who's likely going to resign. We know that. Luka the Don, we're hoping will resign. We're pretty certain that he does. But even if he decides not to, he's still on contract for another 2 years. One thing that I didn't realize as I look at the trade Fanspo showing us all our books is that Rui Hachimura is expiring this year. So this is going to be really interesting to see if we hold on to Rui. I thought he had another year after this upcoming season, but he is actually expiring this upcoming season. He will be a free agent in 2026. As will Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber. Yeah. And of course, we have a couple of free agents right now, but with the exception of LeBron James, I don't think you care too much about who these people are. Respectfully, Markieff Morris, Jackson Hayes could be pretty interesting. Alex Lynn. Yeah. And you got a guy like Shake Milton on for like 2 more years, but like making up $3 million. That's not even hurting your books. Dalton Connects on a rookie contract. You know what I'm saying? So Austin Reeves is very interesting, but he's on contract through 26, 27. So we don't have to really worry about him walking away this upcoming next summer or whatever. We don't have to worry about that. So he's on contract for another 2 years. Vando's on contract for another 3 years. You know, so it's like we're not the most exciting team, but I think, you know, with Rui being an expiring contract, there's a bit more intrigue there than maybe I considered. And I think we're doing better with our picks than I thought. I think we're actually doing better than I initially believed. The Los Angeles Lakers have their second rounder this year, 55th pick. We don't have any more second rounders through 2031. We've given away all our second round picks. Some of them in the Rui trade. That's what we really did. We gave away 1 million second round picks. But the thing about second round picks, I tell you the truth, you can buy those. They're always swapping around. More than half of the picks in the second round last year were traded. So if you could take cash considerations to get a second rounder, we did that with Jordan Clarkson. So I don't find myself too concerned about second round picks. If I want one, I just get one. They're always on the move, and they're not worth much. They're dirt cheap. You can find them anywhere. That's my perception of them. But first rounders is an entirely different ball game, and we have first rounders. The 26th first rounder next year, we have our own pick. So if something goes catastrophically wrong with Brian and Luka, we can tank if we don't move that pick, or we can move the pick and try to get ourselves something. We have 28 first round pick. No swaps, nothing. We ain't done nothing weird with it. We have 30's first round pick, and we have 31's first round pick. So the Lakers have 4 first rounders right now. I don't know that they can trade all of them. I think only 3 of them probably are trade eligible. And then, you know, but they're there. They're there. So I think, given the circumstances, you actually feel pretty good about the Lakers situation. It would be great if we had more of our picks back. Of course, we gave away, 2025's pick was in the Anthony Davis trade back in the New Orleans situation. That was traded to Atlanta for DeJounte Murray. They also ended up giving away did he get the most improved player? Dyson Daniels? Was also in that trade, and a bunch of other stuff too, as we know. Our second rounder from 2026 is going to Toronto. I don't know what that trade was about. I don't remember. Our first rounder from 27 is going to Utah, but it is protected 1 through 4. So if for some reason we tank heavy in 2027 for whatever reason, if we land in the top 4, we keep the pick. Same odds that Philly had to keeping their pick this year, basically. They had it swapped with Oklahoma City Thunder, and they kept their pick. They got the second overall pick. So a lot of things can go wrong there, but I don't expect we'll be bad in 2027. We've got a prime Luka Doncic. We also have our second rounder going to Brooklyn that year. In 28, we got our second rounder going to Washington, of course, in the Rui deal, or Orlando. I don't understand how that works, but maybe they did a deal with Orlando and a swap when they got our pick or something. I don't know. 2029, of course, that's pick is the Luka pick. We were happy to give that to Dallas. And then our second rounder from 2029 is, of course, again, Washington, Rui deal. In 2030, our second rounder goes to Brooklyn, and in 2031, our second rounder also goes to Brooklyn. So that's what our pick situation looks like. And I feel good about it. I feel better about it than I thought I would. We're doing better than I thought we were, and so I think it's a decent chance the Lakers probably move a couple of them first, which won't make me feel as comfortable, but I think that's probably what the Lakers will opt to do. And I think if you attach expiring Rui and 1 first or 2 firsts, you can get something exciting. $18 million is not going to be the most attractive. How do I say this? It's not the most attractive amount of money to send out to get something super exciting. Most guys are on contract for more than 18 million. But if you get creative, maybe you can involve yourself in a 3-team deal that has you landing more picks. If you move Rui in a deal that, say, involves Giannis or something like that going to somewhere else. You know what I mean? That kind of thing is possible. You got to get super creative. But the point is the Lakers have a little more flexibility than I anticipated them having with Rui at 18 expiring. Now, I'm not overly excited to moving on from Rui necessarily. I like his size. I like his ability to hit shots. He's a good executing offensive talent. So it's not like he's just has to move on. I'm not just trying to kick him out of here. But him being at $18 million expiring right now, coupled with our picks, is probably our most attractive tradable assets, because the rest of the stuff that we have, it ain't all that attractive, man. Not stuff we actually want to move. Austin Reeves is always going to look great on that contract. He's on $12 million this year, 13 rather this year, and 14 the following year. That's one of the best contracts in the league. But I don't think the Lakers are just overly excited about moving that contract in a nutshell. I really don't think so. Gabe Vincent expiring looks better, especially since he played better last year. He looked kind of trash in the playoffs, as we know, but throughout the course of the regular season, he got back to being healthy. Maybe you can inspire somebody to snatch him off your books, or you can just keep him for this upcoming year and then have $11 million of your own coming off your books. When you have expiring contracts, you're in the catbird's seat. You know what I mean? Because if you hold on to the guy, yeah, you're letting him walk for nothing, but you also keep the money that he's leaving behind when that happens. So Gabe Vincent at $11 million, you feel great about it pretty much either way. I think a lot of us would like us to move on from Gabe Vincent and explore what maybe we can come back with, but with him expiring, I don't think it'd be too difficult to make a decision there. Maxi Kleber is also expiring. I don't think you can get much from Maxi. I don't think you can. At 33 years of age, and nobody's seen him healthy in over a year, and when they did see him healthy last, he looked bad. I think he probably stuck with that. And I'm not attaching anything to him to move him, so I could totally see him being a Laker this year. Maybe play his value up throughout the course of the first half of the regular season and move him as an expiring contract at the trade deadline. I totally see us trying to do that. Dorian Finney-Smith, you're likely going to want to extend. He is also expiring this upcoming year, but I think the Lakers extend him right away. He is 31 years of age, so we do need to respect that Dorian is aging. But he's such an important piece because he's Luka's friend and because he's probably our best defensive player right now. Probably is. So for me, him and Jared Vanderbilt. But for me, Dorian Finney-Smith, the way that he shot throughout the course of the regular season, I'd be very happy to bring him back. I think he's a very important piece for us. That could change depending on what personnel moves we make. But as long as we're currently constructed and are not in the position to get a player like him, I think keep him. Now, the one thing I'm thinking about, if I'm the Lakers, I haven't done any homework on next year's draft, but I've done some homework on this year's draft. I might be inclined to move next year's pick for somebody who's willing to give me a first-round pick this year. Not necessarily because I need another player that needs to develop, because that is a very strong component to all of this, but because there are some players that I just think fit really well on our team in that first round. For example, Common Malawach. If we could trade to get Common Malawach, he would fit very well. If we could trade to get Carter Bryant, that piece would make it so that Dorian Finney-Smith isn't as important as a piece to us. So like, these are the type of things that there are certain players in this draft, not necessarily based on their youth, because that doesn't really fit our timeline, but based on their attributes and their athleticism potentially may fit our needs. Without knowing what the heck comes in the next year's draft, I might be inclined to call a team like San Antonio and ask them if they want to trade their pick for ours next year, or call a team like Houston and see if they want to trade their pick for ours next year. Now, those picks might be more valuable because we're expected to be a good team, and those are not bad picks. We're talking about 14 in the draft lottery picks, so you may have to incentivize more. It's not going to be as simple as just sending out your pick and getting back their pick. But again, I'd be willing to probably dangle Rui Hachimura in the event that I feel that excited about doing something. Or I might be able to dangle the expiring contract of Gabe Vincent at $11 million to try to make it so that maybe San Antonio sends me back a contract that's worth $11 million on multiple years and then gives me that pick that I want. And I can go ahead and draft one of those players, that kind of thing. So this is the type of creativity that crossed my mind. It's not, like I said, it ain't that important that the Lakers move stuff really this offseason. I think it is important that they address their center position. And I do think that there's so many centers in this year's draft that you would probably be wise to try to get into this draft and solidify your center of the future. It's so many, man. You know, Wolf, who else? Man, my mind is gone blank. But it's a million of dudes in this draft. Georgetown Server, as I like to call him. You know, if you can get Thomas Sorver, your center position is straight if you're the Lakers. If you can get Common Malawach, you got your center for the next 12 years. You know what I mean? And so, with some of these teams being willing to trade their pick, maybe it might be in the Lakers' best interest to address their center position that way. Because I ain't excited about bringing in Brook Lopez. Why? Because I'm going to be in the same situation next year or the year after that when he retires. I don't want to be in this situation. It's the problem with the Lakers. We always find ourselves needing a center. We've needed a center for the last 7 years. I need us to get one now. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't think the center market is that great. I don't want to take back no $34 million DeAndre Ayton expiring if I'm going to be sending out Austin and Rui and all different types of crap. I'm not doing nothing like that with Portland. So where are we getting our center? You know what I mean? I don't think New York is going to be willing to move on from Mitchell Robinson after how he looked, especially since they're talking about potentially moving on from Carl Anthony. Ain't no way in hell they're going to be moving on from him. So, like, where are you getting your center at? I don't think it's all that realistic that you're going to be able to pry Onyeka Okongwu away from Atlanta. That's exciting, but I don't think you're going to be able to do that. Brooklyn, you think you can get Claxton? Who would I rather have? One of these rookies on a rookie contract or Claxton? Claxton's probably more attractive to a lot of people. I don't know how much he's going to want to make. He's up for a new contract. Am I really going to want to pay him $25 million a year? I don't really know. I don't know. Claxton's cool if we can get him for a really nice contract, but I don't expect that that's what is going to be there. He's going to have other suitors as well. Are you swinging for the absolute fences for like a Jaren Jackson Jr.? If so, what all has to go out to get him? The likelihood you land Jaren Jackson Jr. in this situation is not very good at all, in my opinion. So, like, where are you getting your center from? Now, if I can trade 28 first rounder or 26 first rounder to a team like San Antonio, who probably doesn't need to bring in a kid, to a team like Houston, who definitely doesn't need to bring in a kid, I can draft my center. One of them dudes is going to be on the board. It may not be Common Malawach, but somebody that you are happy to have at your center position is going to be on the board. So that's what I want to say to the Los Angeles Lakers. I don't know that this is the best thought in the world. I haven't really thought this through. This is on the fly. But I would not be significantly opposed to us trading a pick for a pick, just like San Antonio did last year with Minnesota. They traded a pick for a pick, so it's possible. But there's centers, man. Derek Queen probably doesn't fit the bill. Is he really a center? I don't think that's the answer. You need rim protection, but he's there. He'll likely be there. Thomas Sorber will be there. Um, yeah, Danny Wolf. Although I'm not a huge fan of him, I think I'm certain he'll be there. And in the second round too, even though you don't have any, you have only one second round pick. That 55th second round pick is not going to get you as attractive of a center for which you feel like you can go forward with. In theory, I do like the idea of getting Yannick Koenig-Niederhauser or Ryan Kalkbrenner, I guess. But do I expect that they're going to develop into being that dude? I'm probably more likely to get that dude in the first round. So, Rasheer Fleming, I don't know if he's a little undersized, but he's very strong. 6'9", I don't know. Joanne Behringer, 6'10". I'm looking at Sorver and Kamen Malawach. Malawach is likely going to be gone before the 13th overall pick. NBADraft.net has him going 13. I think he could go as high as 6, to be honest with you. I think he could go high as 6. So I'm not counting. If I'm trading to get someone, I'm hoping he's there, but I'm likely doing this to get Sorber. 6'10", 7'5" wingspan. I'm probably trading up to get Sorber. I'm hoping Common's there, but I'm expecting Toronto or somebody to take Common. So if I'm gonna be able to do a deal with maybe like Brooklyn for their first round pick, get 8 from them, doesn't seem really likely to me. I think the tradable picks are likely Houston, Portland, and San Antonio. That's what I've surmised. That those teams will probably be willing to trade their picks because they don't necessarily need another kid. Portland, it's arguable, but we made a whole video on Portland talking about how they should probably be going after Giannis. And I stand by that. I think it's actually realistic that Giannis could land there. For a million reasons, I encourage you guys to check out the 2 videos I made over the last couple of days. And if for some reason you can't address your center position and you've made a trade to get a center, believe me, there's a lot of good talent on this draft board that you would love to have. Yakushonis may be available. I'd love to add him too. He's not to Luka Doncic's rotation going forward as a piece that's going to get him the ball. A guy like Yegor Dimin, who is a connective piece that also makes plays for others. He could be available. Maybe Asa Newell would be an excellent power forward for the Lakers in a Luka Doncic situation. Liam McNeely, although I wouldn't draft him that high, he would be available. Maybe the Lakers are like his shooting. Carter Bryant, y'all know I love Drake Powell. I think he's flying up draft boards. If the Lakers drafted him, I would do a dance on camera. I kid you not. That's my favorite player this entire draft, and he's not expected to go before 20 in the draft. I think that's a huge mistake. Cedric Coward's another guy that the Lakers would be amazing for acquiring. So for me, it's like, without knowing what's coming in the next couple of drafts, because next year's draft may very well have a bunch of players that I love very much too, and I'd be pissed off if I got something wrong here. Without doing any homework, I'll just say that the Los Angeles Lakers getting into this draft this year, I think they'll walk away with a piece that they feel great about in their future. Question is, can that player help us right now? And most of these guys are one and done, so I don't know about that. But when you talk about trying to invest in your center position, it's probably wise to try to get that player sooner than later, so that they can help you as they develop in the future years, rather than waiting till next year and then developing that center. You would already had a year of that player's development in your situation. Whatever the case may be, the point is, I think the Lakers need to get a center, and I think that maybe the most cost-effective way to do that is to try to find themselves into this draft and get them on a rookie contract right away. So, yeah, Asa Newell's a player I really like for the Lakers. Kamen Malawach, a player I like for the Lakers. Carter Bryant, Drake Powell, Noah Penda, wingy dudes like that. Will Riley, I think, would be really good for us. They got a bunch of dudes in this draft. Colin Murray-Boyles, real defensive player, could help us. Probably more of the same from Vando, but you can always feel good. Maxime Ronaldo is a guy that doesn't fit the center position to mine. He's a 7'1" center, but he's not rim protection, but he is a scorer, filler-upper kind of guy. I love him to death in this draft as well. So this draft has a lot of guys I like, and that is what's driving me to say it wouldn't be the worst idea to maybe consider getting into this draft, because even if you miss out on getting a center, you're going to find something you really love in this draft, something that could be a pillar next to Luka for years to come. So that's what I see here. You know, I think there's a world where Ace Bailey could fall out of the top 8 and you get a pick at that, suddenly in that area. Now you can literally draft Ace Bailey. Like, that's craziness. You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff can change the life of your franchise for good. So I don't think it's the worst idea. I think there's a decent chance that somebody that you don't expect to fall in this draft is going to fall, just like Dalton did. Somebody in that top 5 probably going to fall, man, because there are guys like Coward and Danny Wolf and people like Drake Powell and Noah Penda that are starting to lift. They're elevating in their in this draft process. So you could see a Noah Asenge dropping. You could totally see Nick Clifford being available to you. You could these type of things are real. So this is the draft, man. This is the draft. If you can try to get one of those picks, based on what it is I'm looking at, I think the Lakers would be super excited to swap 2028 for this upcoming year for with someone. So that's just something I'm thinking about, man. We'll give it a shot and see what the Lakers decide to do. I'm not overly excited about the 55 range of this draft. I will say that I haven't done a bunch of homework in that range, but the draft stops being really exciting to me around mid-second round. That's based on the homework I've done. That's when it stops being all that. So we're unfortunately in the very back of this draft, and that holds some weight, I guess, if you're doing your job. But I would rather get a little closer to the front of the draft, to be honest with you. So that's really my point of view, man. But as far as what the Lakers are really interested in doing, is just basically trying to figure out how they can either re-sign Rui Hachimura or move him. Obviously, Luka Doncic getting his extension is the primary thing. Getting Bron going in his extension, which is probably inevitable. That's going to happen. And that's pretty much it. Everything else is just trying to get guys in free agency and replacing some of these older guys. I think getting younger makes a lot of sense, although not too young. But in the mid-20s to fit Luka's timeline, I think it makes a lot of sense for this roster. We had some guys on there, 31, 33. I got Bron eating up all of my desire for old dudes. He's all the old I need. I don't need nobody else on this team. Him and Dodo are the only 2 players that I honestly want over 30 on this roster. Everybody else needs to be under 28, in my opinion, for me to feel comfortable about having them on this roster. I just need youth and depth. Youth and depth. Youth and depth. So that's pretty much what I got to say, man. Do I expect the Los Angeles Lakers will be a contender this year? If I'm being completely honest with you, based on what it is I'm looking at, hell no. We ain't beating OKC. Are you crazy? No, we don't have nothing that can do that right now. But we can put ourselves in a position to start forming the assets that can be built around Luka that can ultimately put us in a position to have a contending team in 27, 28, 29 if we're doing this correctly. But as far as this upcoming year, I don't see a path to us building something that can do that. I really don't. There are too many other teams that are getting started. San Antonio, Houston, obviously Oklahoma. This Western Conference is just going to get harder and harder. So I wouldn't swing for the fences if I'm the Lakers. No more than they already have. I wouldn't try to make a move for Giannis. Not that you're going to outbid some of these teams anyway, but I wouldn't necessarily think that I'm going to win a championship for LeBron based on what the field looks like. It just looks like it's going to be too hard to do that. Minnesota's still going to be around. Denver's not going anywhere. These teams are likely to improve in the offseason as well. So what I'm doing is positioning myself to have pieces that fit the timeline of Luka. That's what I'm doing. And trying to make myself as wealthy as possible, pick-wise and asset-wise, so that when LeBron retires, it doesn't send me to the dark ages. That's really, that's what I need to be doing. Not necessarily dreaming of winning a championship, hanging a banner in this upcoming season. That just don't seem realistic to me. No matter what you're doing, you're still going to get knocked off by Oklahoma. That's a God's honest truth. And so, that's the expectations for this upcoming season. Another season where it's kind of like, no banner, but we can go out there and fight, and most importantly, make this thing attractive enough for Luka to feel like he can eventually be a part of a championship situation or perennial championship situation. So that's really what this is about. You make Luka happy, man. And Bron, look, bro, like I told Bron on this channel a million times, if you're trying to win a championship, I don't think this is the place no more. I don't think this is the place anymore. I just don't. I don't think we have enough to do it. And I think now that we have Luka in place, our focus needs to be more outward. More outward. Now, I still love having Bron on the team. I still feel like I have a chance, but it's not a great one because of the field, what it looks like out here in the Western Conference. Teams are going to get better, man, and I just don't know that we can build something around a 3 ball handler, not really having defensive lineup that can actually compete with the Oklahoma City Thunder, man, or what the Spurs are about to put together. It's just it's not realistic, man. So that's my point of view. I think in a perfect world, we're able to get ourselves a very significant rim protector or 2. Maybe able to get some wings with long arms and stuff like that, and great defensive players that can guard a SGA or a Ja Morant type dude. But I just don't see how the Lakers are going to be able to put all that together responsibly. If you want to move all your picks, you could probably put something together. It probably still won't be good enough, though. So it's not about me trying to build a champion this year. It's about me bringing myself pieces that can be solidified to move me into a space where we can kind of like allow Luka's greatness to lead us to wherever that's going to take us. And it's on Luka to get in shape. Literally, like that's the Lakers' focus this offseason. It's making sure he stays on the path of becoming a workout warrior. Not just losing weight, but becoming a workout warrior. He's 6 years old? You got time to reinvent your body over the next 3 years and still have plenty of prime basketball left to play. So it's up to him. And he looks like he's doing it. He looks like he's lost weight. But I believe that it's not just about losing weight. It's about establishing a commitment to fitness and nutrition that is far beyond anything that he's ever done. That's what's going to make him good enough to really drag whatever we're putting together to the championship. And so I hope he's been inspired to do that. And I think if he has, MVPs are in his future. MVPs are in his future. I saw a stat today that is not even reasonable. Last year, Luka Doncic in the playoffs, as a chubby guy, led the playoffs in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. This year, all of those categories are led by a different human being. He led them all last year. I'll leave you with that. BDF 44. I thank you all for watching.